Hello everybody, welcome to July. Today we're covering the games coming out between July 1st and the 14th. If you're looking for the back half of the month, be sure to subscribe as I'll post that video closer to the 15th. For the front half of the month though, we have 30 games on tap with 12 PC demos, 3 Xbox demos, 1 Switch demo, 1 PlayStation demo, and a game coming to Game Pass. Don't forget to follow that Future Dubs Twitter account and stay up to date on changing release dates and surprise releases. Okie dokie, let's go. Take your seat for a new season as redesigned cars and overhauled rules redefine race day. Test your skills around the new Miami International Autodrome and get a taste of the glitz and glamour of Formula One and F1 life. F1 will also feature a new handling model, the ability to play in VR, and the ability to truly customize your race day. F1 is one racing discipline that's never really appealed to me, but with the F1 Life mode and a separate career mode, I'm suddenly much more interested. F1 22 comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC on July 1st. Numina is a game that blends many classic RPG aspects, a character-driven story, a dynamic battle system, challenging puzzles, and more. Numina also breaks the fourth wall and lets the player interact in an interesting way. Sean, the main character, is the only one who can hear your voice. As his guardian spirit, you can interact with Sean and influence his decisions through dialogue choices in the game. I think this game might be right up my alley, and the connection between the player and the protagonist is unique, but it's important to note that this is only part 1 of the game, which according to devs should take around 24 hours. Part 2 is planned for Q4 of 2022. Numina will release on PC on July 1st and has a demo available now. Gilly, the owner of a local arcade, is trying to save his business from a faceless megacorporation. To do so, he takes all the top arcade games and connects them all to make a super game. Unfortunately, the megacorporation, Fun Co., hacks the game and injects a virus. You and your friends need to save the game and the last hometown arcade. The overall aesthetic reminds me heavily of Fortnite, but it isn't a battle royale. It plays more like a roguelite action third-person shooter with PvP and PvE elements. The story setup sounds like utter nonsense, but I'm intrigued to say the least. Currently, Arcadegeddon is in early access on PlayStation and Epic, but will be hitting 1.0 on July 5th and will be available on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC. Sengoku Shunju stands accused of arson and the murders of 21 people. He now has to pair up with one of 5 victims known as executioners and must face the attractions of a strange and secluded amusement park called Yurukill Land. Whomever comes out on top gets what they desire. The prisoners can have their crimes pardoned, while the executioners will be granted revenge. This seems like a fun, twisted adventure that wouldn't lead one to believe that a core component of the game would include shoot-'em-up sequences, but it speaks to just how out there this game is. Yurukill, the Calumniation games, comes to the PlayStations and Switch on July 5th and makes its way to PC on July 8th. You can also try out a demo on PlayStation, PC, and Switch. Enter the court and get ready for a brand new title that delivers authentic gameplay and an immersive tennis experience. Matchpoint will implement an extensive career mode and a unique rivalry system. As a tennis player, I'm always conflicted when I see new tennis games. On one hand, I love the sport. On the other, I don't think tennis makes for a very fun video game. This trailer also didn't inspire much confidence. The animations and movements look very stiff, and there's a lot of shots that were shown off that just wouldn't happen in a tennis match. Regardless, Matchpoint Tennis Championships comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Switch, and PC on July 7th. It will also be coming to Game Pass on day 1, and there's a PC demo available now. You are a strand of light in a top-down open world inspired by dark fairy tales. Create pathways through the darkness, nurture the creatures of the forest, repair ancient structures, and ultimately confront the witch who broke this place. After watching the trailer, it's very hard to zero in on what exactly the gameplay consists of. I'm reminded of Loop Hero, but that's more due to the aesthetic than anything else. There is something about this game though that makes me think it could be the next indie darling. We'll see though when Witch Strandings comes to PC on July 7th. Set in the underworld, where demons of all shapes and sizes live, the reign of the 444th Overlord has passed 300 years. The time for the selection battle has come to decide the next Overlord. Choose your route through the side-scrolling labyrinths to buy new cards, earn treasure, strengthen allies, fight enemies, and more. This is essentially a deck-building pixel art roguelite with Chemco flavor. There seems to be some sneaky depth here, but I feel a need to mention that it is a port of a mobile game. Overrogue comes to the Xboxes and PC on July 7th, and there's a PC and Xbox demo available now. KLONOA Phantasy Reverie series is a remastered compilation including KLONOA Door to Phantomile and KLONOA 2 Lunatea's Veil. Released on the PlayStation and the PlayStation 2 in 1997 and 2001 respectively, these games will be receiving a graphical overhaul, but the core gameplay will be relatively untouched. I never played the KLONOA games, but they look like fun 3D mascot platformers, which is a genre I've actually come to enjoy more as time has gone on. Maybe this will be a good time to make my acquaintance with the franchise. KLONOA Phantasy Reverie series comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Switch, and PC on July 8th. What would you do if you woke up locked in a room with your hands covered in blood? Play as Luca and endure the torture of a demon named MADiSON. MADiSON has forced Luca to continue a gory ritual started decades ago in where he commits abominable acts. Will you be able to finish this sinister ceremony? I've had my eyes on MADiSON for a long time. Being a big fan of horror games, this one looks to check the boxes for me. It'll really come down to execution, but from the trailers, I think this game has potential to be right up there with Visage as one of the scarier games I've played in recent memory. MADiSON comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC on July 8th with a Switch version planned for the future. Neon Blight is a 2D cyberpunk roguelite gun store management game. Collect and sell guns, customize and manage your gun store, fight your way through dangerous levels, and get closer to the ultimate weapon. The website for the game states that it was inspired by Enter the Gungeon and Moonlighter, which are two stellar games. Throw in the cyberpunk twist, and this has me really excited. Neon Blight comes to PC on July 11th and has a demo available now. In a world full of mystical creatures and magic, a ruthless army of the Rock Ogre invaded the city of the Garuda. The Garuda army was defeated and the city fell. At the same time, a badly wounded warrior found himself on a mysterious enchanted island called Himafan, where he met a mysterious figure who entrusted him with a legendary artifact, the Mythic Wings, thus beginning a new adventure. This game's art looks really good, and from the trailer, I see Souls-like 2D combat, a lot of rolling and iframes, but it seems to be pretty fast-paced. I'm not sure about the sponginess of the enemies, but we'll see how it comes together on July 12th when Krut, the Mythic Wings, comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Switch, and PC. After a shipwreck, you awake to find your ship in pieces. stranded on a strange island filled with frogs? You'll have to establish a trading network to get the pieces you need to repair your ship. In doing so, you will meet a cast of friendly characters, solve head-scratching puzzles, find hidden treasures, and much more. This game looks so charming, it's colorful and cute. A little concerned from the trailer though, that it's going to be fetch quest central. Do this, get this, bring this here, now get this, then take this back to your ship. I hope there's more to it than that, but we'll see on July 12th when Time on Frog Island comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Switch, and PC. Zell is a 3D action-adventure set in a sci-fi fantasy setting. Play as Reed, shipwrecked on the strange world of Zell without any recollection of her former life. It's up to you to unravel her past and connections to the strange planet. Explore the vibrant overworld and take on challenging dungeons to help Reed figure out who she is and why she's here. There have been an influx of very good isometric action RPGs over the last couple years. It looks like Zell wants to be considered as the next great addition to the genre. We'll see on July 12th when Zell launches for the PC and the 14th when it comes to the Switch. It's also coming to PlayStation and Xbox later this year, and there's a PC demo available now.
Loopmancer is a side-scrolling action roguelite set in a cyberpunk world. Neurocomp interfaces, bionic prosthetics, and nanobiotechnology have all become commonplace. You play as a detective investigating the disappearance of a famous female journalist who is also stuck in a time loop that restarts every time he is killed. The action seems pretty fast-paced, and the first gameplay comparison I can think of is to Shadow Complex, which admittedly may not be great because I've only seen that game played and not experienced it myself. The game looks pretty and it seems to have tons of stuff to unlock if you're into that sort of thing, which I am. Loopmancer comes to PC on July 13th with console versions planned for the future. There's also a demo available on Steam right now. The Tale of Bistun is a story-driven action-adventure game inspired by the 12th century tragic poem Khosrow and Shirin. You play as a stone carver who wakes on Mount Bistun with no memory of anything before that moment. Travel between the real world and an ethereal place of forgotten memories to learn your past. While the perspective is a little different than Zell, this is another isometric action game in a land that is, this time, overrun by a blight. The Tale of Bistun comes to PC and Xbox on July 13th with a demo available now on each platform. As Macario Macabro, the Exorcist-light pizza dude who is delivering an order to Tagomago's mansion on Mockingbird Milky Way Heights 13, which just happens to be the oldest, creepiest, haunted manor in the universe, you'll have an hour and 45 minutes to learn the behaviors of the manor's 7 inhabitants to find a way to kill them before they eat you. Admittedly, I barely comprehend what I just said. This game has a very interesting aesthetic though, and it looks incredibly strange. Played from the first-person perspective with a very ethereal, floaty viewpoint, I'm not entirely sure how you achieve your goals, but I can say I'm not interested in whatever this ends up being. Tamarindo's Freaking Dinner comes to PC on July 13th and has a demo available now. Welcome to Escape Academy. Train to become the ultimate escape room master. Solve puzzles, hack servers, meet the faculty, brew the perfect cup of tea. Entirely playable in single player or co-op with a friend, local or online. Now I suck something awful at escape rooms. I've never made it out of one. It doesn't mean they aren't fun though. Now the idea of working my way through an academy dedicated to getting better at escape rooms sounds alright. It sounds doubly alright if I can do so with a friend. Escape Academy comes to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC on July 13th. The space sport swoop UFO is all the rage in the galaxy, and UFO pilots known as swoopers are battling it out today. Using your swoop beam, collect and deposit the target item into the goal or use the beam to intercept, throw, and attack your opponent. Based on the trailer, this looks like it has some puzzle fighter mechanics that allow you to cause a wall to rise up over your opponent's goal from time to time, preventing them from scoring. It's small, cute, and seems relatively simple. Someone looking for a bite-sized competitive game may have something with Super UFO Fighter, which lands on Switch and PC on July 14th. In 1966, a young couple, a gas station owner, and a paranormal investigator get caught up in a terrifying conspiracy where nightmare creatures lurk and mysterious men in black lie in wait. The first game in a new series, this game blends exceptional writing and 80s pixel art graphics. This game plays out like a choose-your-own-adventure game with puzzles and minigames sprinkled throughout. Fans of classic computer games like Uninvited and Maniac Mansion might be interested in keeping an eye on this one. Mothman 1966 comes to PS4, Xbox One, and PC on July 14th. There is also a PC demo available now. Fight with light against the dark in this roguelite platformer starring Victoria Bloom. Drive back the darkness that's overrun Bloom Manor and conquer swarms of creatures as you discover powerful new items to upgrade your arsenal. Eyes in the Dark is entirely black and white, and it makes sense for a game about breaking through the darkness with your flashlight. It plays like a 2D side-scrolling platformer set in a procedurally generated mansion. Uncover perks, but choose carefully because each perk comes with a corresponding impediment. Eyes in the Dark, The Curious Case of One Victoria Bloom comes to PC on July 14th and has a demo available for download now. Clanfolk is a life sim set in the Highlands of medieval Scotland. With every tile having a purpose, you get full control over where you place your settlement and how you build it. The largest threat you'll face will be nature itself, and while resources will seem plentiful initially, the seasons changing will also affect just how readily available those resources remain. The trailer makes me think the player can experience the highest highs as their communities grow, and the lowest lows should things prove too rough. I typically feel emotionally unattached to games of this ilk, but even in the trailer, I found myself emotionally invested in the burning village. Clanfolk comes to the PC on July 14th and has a demo available now. Release the pressure with PowerWash Simulator. Wash away your worries with the soothing sounds of high-pressure water. Fire up your power washer and blast away every speck of dirt and grime you can find, all with the simple satisfaction of power washing to a sparkling finish. I've never fired up the early access version of this game, but I know I'll love it based solely on my torrid love affair with Lawn Mowing Simulator. These games just get me. PowerWash Simulator exits early access on PC and comes to the Xboxes on July 14th. Game Deck is a single-player, non-combat cyberpunk isometric RPG where you play as a detective who solves crimes inside virtual worlds. Originally released for PC in September of 2021, it comes to the Switch on July 1st. Almost My Floor is a point-and-click detective story set in the horrifying House No. 9. It is coming to the Xboxes on July 1st after releasing on PC last year. Let's Play Oink Games lets you play Oink Games board game titles online and offline. Originally out on Switch last December, it now comes to PC on July 6th. After already releasing on Switch and PC, you can now experience realistic, fast-paced, top-down rally racing when Rush Rally Origins comes to Xbox consoles on July 6th.
The side-scrolling action platformer featuring a rabbit that is anything but adorable, donning a giant mechanical fist, makes its way to Switch on July 12th. The PS5 and Series X and S version of Hellpoint, the dark and challenging action RPG set in a heavily atmospheric sci-fi universe where the line between science and occult is blurred, lands on July 12th. Two of the most celebrated mobile games ever are coming to PC. Technically, these are separate games, but discounted as a bundle on Steam. Monument Valley 1 and 2 Panoramic Editions comes to PC on July 12th. Choose to solve Rune-related mysteries or simply live out your life in the town of Rigbarth when Rune Factory 5 comes to PC on July 13th. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you have any feedback or suggestions for these videos, by all means let me know. I love doing them and I hope you find them useful. Check out the links below to see the link to the FutureDubs Twitter account that complements this channel. I just created it on June 1st, and I think it does a good job of catching the games that fall through the cracks. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and if you're into live content, come check me out on Twitch. I hope your summer is going amazing, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for part 2.